Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to my little workshop. I'm Doug. Hello, hello, welcome. I have had about 4 or 5 complete failures trying to do this. You know, I've seen some people do some beautiful, beautiful work with this epoxy. Remember back in the day, I'll show my age. Go to Ponderosa, back when you'd get like a tray. But the tables at Ponderosa restaurant had this like inch thick clear coat on there. I always wonder how the hell they did it. I think it was with this stuff. But I've been trying all different things with it, and everything I do pretty much has been a complete fail. Your work surface and your drying area surface has to be level, and I mean get out of level, and it has to be level, because if it's off any direction, it all runs over to that side, even like a half a degree, even the slightest little bit, and it just will all drift over. If there's any crack or hole, it's just going to run right out. You actually have to think of it like water. Picture whatever you're going to be putting your epoxy on is holding, it's got to be able to have water sit on it and stay there. It seeps too. I've noticed on some woods, it will actually draw itself very deep into the wood. In fact, in some cases, it'll draw right through like a 1/2 inch thick wood. That was pretty impressive. The chemical reaction and all the heat, and it does throw a lot of heat during the cure. It draws into the wood fairly deep. So that's something to keep in mind. I did notice it doesn't like black oil paint starts to run. I don't know if maybe I didn't wait long enough, but it made the black on this fuzzy and start to run, which is a bummer. And because I wasn't level, they came out all wonky and crazy, and there's just dust and everything all over them. I don't know what to do, if I should sand them. It's like chunks. I can't believe how bad. I'm just terrible at it. I actually have like huge chunks sealed right in there, almost like the size of cat litter pieces. It's terrible. Some spots are bare, like high spots are bare. Low spots are real thick. What I've done with this, interesting enough, I've tried to fill some holes, and it just has never worked. It just always ends up running out or seeping out or finding its way to not stay where I want it. So I took clear silicone caulk and caulked this twice, every inch of it. And then after that dried, I did the same thing on the inside twice. Let it dry for 2 days and did it again. Did it to both of these, front and back, which, you know, caulk will sand off. I'll be able to get it off, and I may not even have to sand it off. It's on the back. There is some in the front, but you can't really see it up here. I was real careful, and that's why you want to make sure you use clear caulk. You know, essentially, I have to be able to hold water. This will have to be able to essentially hold water for this to work right. You can't use like tape. I've tried, and glues, and it just clamps. It didn't work. But I'll take you through my little process. Yep, you'll want to silicone caulk it and make sure it's going to be like watertight. This time with this black ink, I'm gonna have to probably wait with this one, but I'm gonna try and seal this first with some maybe polyurethane or something so that it doesn't bleed like it did that time. And so I'm not sure if it's gonna set up in time. we'll see, but there are a lot of colors that you can add to the resin. Now keep in mind, the stuff started its life, it's a glue. Back in the day, if you were to go buy glue, you go to the glue aisle, there'd be that big syringe with 2 tubes. And when you squeeze it, the 2 mix and the chemical reaction occurs. But it is a intensely strong adhesive. And if you need like a life and death bond situation, this is what you'll want. The stuff, I made the mistake of setting this stuff the first time on my concrete floor to dry, thinking, it's not going to stick to concrete. It ripped my floor apart. The concrete came up on my workpiece and never came off. There's no getting it off. The stuff is intensely powerful, strong, durable. It's just a trip. This stuff's a trip. I really like it. I want to get good at using it, and it's not cheap is a part of the problem. It's very expensive. Pretty much $100 a gallon. So it's a 2-part 50-50, a hardener and probably a, I don't know what the other part's called, activator, I don't know, but generally you get half-gallon bottles and you'll get 1 gallon. It's roughly between $60 to $100. To get ones that's, each one is a gallon, a 3-gallon kit, so those are generally well over $100. Again, this is the 2, this is a half-gallon, this is a half-gallon. So it's the 1-gallon kit, and it was about $65 plus tax. It's one of the cheapest kits out there. And it's not, some of these, you'll have to do some research, and it's going to depend on what you're doing. Some are better for certain things, like a really deep pour. This stuff is not good, as I did a very deep pour, and it never cured. It didn't cure right. Even a month later, it was still soft. So there's certain epoxies are better for certain things. You'll have to do some research on that. Coloring, though, somebody had commented in one of my videos about mica powder for doing the Shishuggi band burning wood. Mica powder is incredibly beautiful. I can't believe how pretty this stuff is. It is a little pricey, not crazy expensive, but it's a little pricey. But the color, it's worth it. It's worth it. And you can just stir it a real little and get like a beautiful marbling effect. Or you can stir it a lot and tint the whole batch. Yeah, you can really do a lot. I've been doing cutouts of animals and sculpturing of birds and fish, and I like to use this for eyes, the epoxy. Sometimes their eyes look kind of mean, but you can only do one side at a time, so I'm ready to do side B. Now that side A is pretty much dry on most of them. And sometimes they don't come out that good, I don't know. These have yet to be sanded and cleaned. I tried to use white, and I don't know, I thought it would look good because usually the white's very pearly and nice, but in an eyeball it just looks like a cataract. But I believe all these have it, all these have it on one side, and here I've been dripping it. What a messy person I am, but yep, these are all side A's are ready to get side B eyeball. And did I even drill? No. Okay, so it's gonna make a mess. Didn't even have the drill hole yet for side B. Okay, I thought, it would look good red, but red, I don't know, it kind of makes things look mean. I tried blue, and none of them are that great, but I don't know. I had to try it. I didn't do a whole shitload of them, but I had to try some. different colors and such, and we'll see. Once I sand them and clean them up, maybe they will look really good. I don't know. It's been cold here for one day and I've already got the sniffles. What else? I'm trying to think. I'm going to try a second coat on a lot of these. I just basically was just like pouring it, letting it run, letting it self-level itself all over everything. I try and gather whatever I want to do, get everything ready. What else? Let me pause it for a sec. There's a million molds. Now too, you can even make your own molds, which I have not tried. But it's possible, I guess there's a mix that you can mix up and make your own molds. And there's no shortage of silicone molds on Amazon. I bought a whole bunch of different ones, coasters and serving trays. I tried getting a weed grinder one, and it just doesn't work. It's not strong enough. It never sets right for that. It doesn't work good for the grinder one. I have took a hole saw spade bit and dulled it. I took the point off and dulled it. And I use that to stir it, because you do have to mix it really well. And they recommend you stir it for like a couple minutes, which is a pain. So I just put it in a drill and drill it really slow speed, because you don't want to introduce air bubbles. And it's better than mixing it by hand. And they do sell mixers. That's going to be up to you how far into the hobby you're going to get. You may, just before you go buying a bunch of stuff, try it out, because it's not as easy as you may think. You want to dump a bunch of money into something that you're not going to enjoy. This does make it easier to mix, so I got sick of mixing by hand. So I just dulled this completely and just stick it in a drill and drill real slow speed. You can use a heat gun or a torch. So I didn't want to use a torch in the house, so I got a heat gun to get the air bubbles out. So I have found if you don't do that, unseen air bubbles will pop as it's curing and wreck it. It'll be a hole there. So you'll want to even though you don't see air bubbles, you'll still want to run over it with the heat gun. You can use a torch too, but that's up to you. You could use anything. You could use a can of hairspray and a lighter, for real. Whatever. Just throw some heat at it. It doesn't take a long time. The heat will get the bubbles out of it. What else? No, don't do that. It's bad advice. You can add things. I've done that. I've made coasters and put different items in the mix. But you have to like hold things in so it doesn't like float up, or if you didn't want it to sink all the way down, if you want it to be suspended, there's a lot of nuances. There's no shortage of videos out there. So I was going to try and do some cutting boards, maybe engrave some kind of design and epoxy it. But my track record with this stuff is so bad, I've yet to do it, because I've just cannot get it right. True Doug fashion, I failed every time. Oh, not giving up. I'll try again. I really should sand these, but I don't know if I should, because when you sand it, it makes it real cloudy. And then you've got to go through a whole series of sanding finer and finer grits, up to like a 2000 grit, to get it clear again. I don't want to have to go through that, so I'm reluctant to sand it. I'm just going to dump a second coat on there, maybe even a third, and hope it covers all the BS. These I have caulked and sealed, and I'm going to try and run it a bit thicker and get like a thick layer in those. Maybe make some kind of forms so I can make like a rolling tray form, so I can bang out rolling trays for gifts or something like that. But these are just prototypes and templates and test subjects, and we'll see how it goes. This is walnut pretty expensive walnut boards that, oh, I thought I had lined up a little nicer than they are, but anyway. No nails, it's all epoxy together. No metal. Try and get as much ready as I can before I get to mixing. So you do have limited time. And you can use that to your advantage if you get good with the stuff. You can use this time to your advantage for different things. Mixing in color, you want to wait till it gets to a certain thickness. And so here I've got some knot holes that I have taped. I use silicone, a dam, and then tape over it. We'll see. It's siliconed it twice, so it don't escape, and we'll see if it does. We'll see what happens. We'll see if it holds water, because it seeps. It may seep its way right out. It's amazing how far this stuff can seep in the wood. I think as it throws a ton of heat and it opens up the pores is what I believe is happening. Let me drill some quick eye holes, and I'm gonna do that off to the side so I don't skunk up my area with chips. Oh man, my schedule's so crazy. I'll barely wake up. I'm pausing now, set up over here with the works. Okay, I just didn't want to get wood chips and everything and mess that area all up. Workpiece. Get a nice clean hole. Sandpaper to it. Old Milky, the white one. The white is really, really pretty looking. It occurred to me it was gonna look like crap in an eye, but oh well. I shouldn't have rushed it, but it's okay. It's all right. Mix up different colors in the cups that are for the molds for making coasters. I'll just use, I got small and large. These are the small ones I got to make shuffleboard pucks, which came out really cool. Those actually came out awesome, the shuffleboard pucks. but they're gone. I gave them away. Alright, I gotta set up here. Equal parts 50-50. I've got cheap, super cheap measuring cups, a pack of 100, but they've got the increments on there. They're graduated. You know, you just do half 50-50. So I'm going to start at 50 and then the second one to 100. Yeah, right at 50. Okay, it's 100. You have to be careful with this stuff. It is dangerously powerful. If you have an accident, man, that's going to be a disaster. Nice and slow. That's a little too fast. You really want to go as slow as you can. But because of my heat gun, the air bubbles are not a concern, really, because I can definitely get them out with the heat gun. And you want to scrape the sides just like you're making pudding. You're baking a cake. Bottom two. Yeah, be conscious, very conscious of drips and where you set things. I should have grabbed some more paper towels. I'm gonna pause you and get some gloves and rags. Okay, I don't want you to have to sit through the 2 minutes of mixing. See, we're at 23 minutes already, good Lord. But yeah, just pour a tiny bit in each one of these for different, and then add different colors. Let's start with 3 for now. I should have probably mixed up a bit more, but I want this to be like a sun or a moon, so I should have actually mixed up some yellow, which I don't have in mica powder. I believe I left that one at work. I'm gonna try a different color, I guess. Ooh, that was way too much. You know, I need a little, but should be interesting. I do the same with this knot hole. I'll probably have to mix up a bit more. That should be good, I think. I had a wireless mic, but you know the sound quality is so bad on it. I've seen people use their fingers and just kind of wipe it around. I just kind of let it flow around before I finger it. I'm just gonna do it at once anyway. Once you set it down to dry, it's gonna find its way all over the place. Try and get a thin layer on all of it. Set it on something like paperish, cardboardish, that you can get it off of. If it sticks to it, it's no big deal. Run, baby, run. I can actually very easily see that it's covering every inch. So I'm not missing any. Now, if it stays like that, is another story. And it's all going to depend on how level wherever I set this is. There's a little bit left here. Guess I made a couple spots that just didn't stick at all. I was probably gonna do the same exact thing again. The high spots runs right off because it's self-leveling. It's really good for cracks. If you got a crack, get it in there and seal it super good. Stop and do a part 2. It's just going to end itself here in a minute. And this one came out absolutely horrible. I fill these spots that it ran off. It was blizzarding like crazy. I was out there for 2 seconds. I had a foot of snow in my head. Hopefully this will self-level. I'm gonna mix up another batch. I'll stop the video and do a part 2. Mix up a whole second batch and do the rest of these. The video will end itself at 30 minutes. But anyway, thanks for hanging out. Old epoxy resin part 1. We'll see you really soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.